Val. You've got to be good for a little bit of time, please.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unexpected Journey. I haven't been on live for quite some time, and I'm going to start being regular with that. And I thought, what better way to start my regular lives than having a chat to this gorgeous woman, Louise Larkin, from Friending Me, and hearing about her journey and what she's doing now and why she's doing it. And I wanted to introduce all of you, my followers, to her, because I think what she does is really important, and I'm so grateful to have met her and be doing stuff with her. We've done some wonderful things with Louise, and Darcy is an inclusion warrior for Friending Me, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll ask a couple of questions, Lou, just to get it started, just so people can learn a little bit about you. So the first question is, what was the moment you knew your life was about to change?
Okay, well, I love this question. And first of all, I'm just going to apologise to anybody watching or who will be watching if I've got any children crying in the background or wanting mummy, because I'm navigating a couple of kids here today this afternoon. So apologies in advance if you see me bopping up and down trying to pick up the baby. But yes, thank you, Julie, for having me. And thank you, for, as you said, being, a really great support of Friending Me. I think we work really well together and we support each other's journeys really well. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much. But the question, when did I know that my life was going to change? So we've already got one on cue.
That's all good. Most of us have all got kids. We totally understand.
I guess for me, the life-changing moment was the time I was driving to work. And, I spent all my career in the corporate field and had a very senior role in a very senior organisation. And I was driving to work one day, listening to the radio, as you do, driving to work. And there was a mum on the radio who was in tears that no one turned up to her little boy's 6th birthday party. And, at the time I was a mum of one and one little girl. And I thought to myself, goodness, imagine that was me. Imagine that was my little girl that I organised a party for and nobody turned up. That would be heartbreaking, and how terrible for that little boy. So I went back to work and I thought to myself, you know what? I think I'm going to put on an event for events was my background, event sales marketing. I'm going to put on an event for all the little boys and girls that have never been to a party before. And I rang up a couple of friends and I said, I'm going to put on a party. I heard this terrible story. It was so sad. No little boy or girl should feel like this. And that's when Friending Me was born. And although I didn't know it at the time, that was when my life was going to change, it has completely changed my life from that very moment that I was listening to the radio. And, now we're going into our 5th year of the organisation, and I've since left my corporate role 3.5 years ago, and I've focused solely on Friending Me for the last 3.5 years as a full-time base. We are still 100% volunteer, so I have 100% volunteered my time in that time. So as you can imagine, leaving a senior role to do this just proves very much so my passion for this organisation and my passion for creating this inclusive world for all of these children. And as a family, holistically, I think that's what we're really proud of, is we want to take the holistical approach and not just support the kids, but support the families as a whole in their journey.
Yeah, and I think you do that so well, even through COVID, you put you thought outside the box and came up with some great stuff, which we'll talk about as well. But yeah. I love hearing your story, and I think, things like that, it does bring up a burning passion, and it would be devastating to have organised a party and absolutely nobody turn up for your child. I can't imagine. I remember, like having a few people not turn up and them not telling you that they're not coming and being annoyed about that, but there were still others there. So I can't imagine how that mum must have been feeling. It must have been really gut-wrenching for her.
And I think that's what it is, some of these families that I've since, spoken to and learnt from, over the past 5 years, it's that it takes a lot for them to even get to that point of going, you know what? My child is ready for a party. I'm ready for a party. So Logan was living with cerebral palsy, so he was still wearing nappies at 6 years old. So for B to go, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to invite people into our home and into our world and what we've been living in. And to build up that confidence to do that, and then nobody turns up for whatever reason, excuse me, I'm sure they don't know the reason. I think that it's very big assumptions that they make is because that, you know, little Logan wasn't understood and his condition wasn't understood as to why no one said. You know, I don't know the exact facts, but, you know, I don't know if little kids were saying, oh, but Mum, he wears nappies in school, and, you know, and then it was just kind of like we don't really want to associate ourselves with him. So what we're trying to achieve as an organisation is to educate these families, these students, these teachers, the community, that everybody comes from different walks of life and everybody is a little bit different. And it's just us understanding that, you know, what those differences are and how we can manage that, and that everyone still has a beating heart and everybody should still be included in some respect, I think is what we're trying to achieve as an organisation, so that nobody's feeling like Logan or his family. Or like, you know, it's one thing for Logan to feel the way he did, but it's another thing to think about how his mum and dad and, you know, his caregivers felt watching, you know, you've organised this party and no one's there.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I want to try and raise awareness about as well. And also for people to, if they are feeling a little unsure or awkward, come and talk to us, you know, come and ask the question so that we can, you know, solve it and they can get a better understanding of the children. Like Darcy was the same. Darcy was incontinent until he was 14 years old. And he was beginning to get embarrassed by it, and I used to worry about that. I used to worry about going certain places and him, you know, using his pull-up and then having to think, oh, where are we going to go to change? What are people thinking? And it is awkward, but if everybody talks about it and makes it not a big thing, then we can,
like making it's not a big deal.
We can move through it, and everybody can be comfortable with it. And look, as you know, Darcy did some dual schooling in mainstream school, and those kids didn't bat an eyelid about it at all. They accepted him wholeheartedly. We were very, very fortunate. But
which I think is amazing.
Yeah, but out and about in the community, and as he got older, he used to get embarrassed as well, which is why now, yay, he's fully toilet trained. So
it's amazing, and you know, and that's also understandable because that's human nature. You're allowed to be embarrassed approaching, you know, your teens to go, you know, Mum, I'm kind of getting this now. It's not really that is okay. But I think what's not okay is that we're not having an understanding of why, or, you know, we're too scared to talk about it. You know, like if my kids come home and say, well, why is that little boy wearing nappies? You know, like why? It's like, let's have a conversation and let's try and understand why and explain to you why as best we can. Or, you know, even more so, let's go to a family that can tell us exactly why, you know. And I think that's, you know, what you and I as organisations are really trying to achieve. It's that educational part that if you just stop for a minute to understand, Florence. Okay, well, you just need to watch it for a little bit. Lives.
It's all
Florence, go get your little sister, please. She's crying. Yeah, and I think that's what we're both trying to achieve as an organisation. Give me one tip.
Yes, it's all good. Yeah. Kids, they don't put anything on hold for anybody, do they? And before Lou comes back, if anybody's tuning in, there she is, and would like to ask questions, just pop it in the comments on Facebook, and I'll keep my eye on those just in case anybody's got any questions. So and creating conversations and, you know, making everybody feel comfortable, I think is important.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and to not almost make a big deal about it. Like it doesn't matter. Like you said, if we make it a big deal, and it is a big deal. If it's just like, you know. Or if, you know, I've heard you speak about, you know, it's even in your book, the stairs. We don't have to stare. You can even ask a question, and let's be really open about that. Like, I mean, I can't talk on behalf of a child with a disability as a parent, but for someone like yourself, you don't have to stare. Come and talk to you, you know, come and ask me a question, or is there something that I can educate you on? Is there something that I can talk to you about that's going to help you understand? So, you know, and staring isn't a bad thing either. Like,
no.
You know, I see my girls do it, especially, you know, they're young, they're 1, 3 and 6. Of course they're going to stare. I'm never going to yell at them for not staring, but, you know, especially my 6-year-old, if I catch her out, I just say, is there something you want to try and understand about that child or that adult or whoever it is? Let's try and talk about it. So then she's educated, and then the next time she's like, oh yeah, I know, I get that. That's that doesn't even bother me. But it's when we don't explain or we don't open them up to these environments, that's when they talk behind the kids' backs, and then there's this misunderstanding, and that's where the bullying and the exclusion, and that's where everything starts rolling into that. That's where it becomes an issue. That's where the issue is. And I think especially the misunderstanding with children on the spectrum is that they're the naughty child, because they're just labeled this naughty kid that just doesn't, they're up and about, they're so cheeky, they're so naughty, and they're always being like this in the classroom. It's like, well, hang on, we need to take the time to explain to them why, that they're coming with some challenges. So let's talk about it, and how can we make it easier for them in the classroom? And I think this comes down to the teachers and the parents as well, in helping educate these kids as well. Because they're our future too.
Yeah, that's right. And look, Darcy says, I look at people too, and that's why I always think, even if you're all feeling awkward about saying hello or coming and asking a question, just give a little smile, and it just changes the whole dynamic of the situation.
Absolutely.
And when Darcy's looking at people, he's very fascinated by short-statured people, and like very fascinated. And I always tell him to just give them a wave or a smile or say hello, just so they don't feel awkward about the whole thing. I don't think they would with Darcy, but I want to teach him too,
And there's no reason why he can't be taught,
Yeah, that's right.
It's good for him to have that understanding, and that's why I think he's extremely lucky to have you as a mum, because you're not just advocating for Darcy so amazingly, you're advocating for disability as a whole. So that's also teaching your boy who's living with disabilities about disability, so he understands,
Yeah. And I don't think it's hard, So I wanted to know, where did you get the name Friend in Me?
It just got to come to me, but of course it was from Toy Story,
the song.
So after I thought, I'm going to put on an event where everybody, this is what I was kind of thinking, I'm going to put on a little party, so everyone's friends, and then I literally, my little girl was watching Toy Story, and it's like, you've got a friend in me. I was like, oh, maybe I could call it the Friend in Me party. Friend in Me party. I'm like, okay, we're going to call it the Friend in Me party. So that's just what it was. It was Friend in Me party for a couple of years. And, in those couple of years, I would put on another event. It went from 350 people, and then it went to 550 people, and then there was 850 people. Actually, no, that third year went up to 2,000, and then this year just ticked over 3,000. So once I left my job and we became a fully registered charity, and I put it in all my full-time efforts. That's where, we changed it to just Friend in Me. We got rid of the party part. But that's when we turned into a fully fledged, registered charity, which I'm extremely proud of, because it's really grueling to try and get a registered charity status, which I had an amazing team that supported me with that. But, it was really good to be able to do that as well. I think that was a really big, goal for us, and a really big achievement for us to get that, because it's just opened up so many opportunities and so many other doors, which I never thought we were going to have 5 years ago. I just thought I'd be carrying on in the corporate world and maybe putting on a little event, and then that would be it. Florence, please.
Look at you now. Like, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, all the things that you're doing and putting together. And I know there's lots more things you've got planned. I know that you've got lots of things and wonderful educational things planned as well. So and that leads me into the next question. What programs are you developing at the moment? Can you share, or if
we can share a little bit. Obviously we're working on our signature event, which is our fundraising event, which is our community day, and that's the one that keeps growing and growing. That's just a big fundraising activity. It's just a very inclusive event. This year it was held at the Melbourne Showgrounds, and it will be held at the Melbourne Showgrounds again next year. So we're just finalising some dates, and we've doubled the space. Double the space means double the money, which means double the funding, but it's double the love and double the efforts, which we're very, very proud of. And we'd love to see a minimum of 5,000 people coming through the doors next year, which we think we can achieve, because we just keep growing. So that's happening. we're really excited to be partnering with Variety Tasmania, and we're doing a joint community day with Variety in Tassie in November.
Oh, that's exciting.
That's really exciting. So we're going over the seas, and we're partnering with Variety to put on a community day over there, which I'm really excited about. We've got some beautiful families over in Tasmania, so who are some of our little ambassadors. So it'll be really exciting to meet those families, but to also, you know, welcome new Friend in Me families and just collaborate with such an amazing organisation such as Variety. I'm a very big believer that we are better together. And you know, if we can join forces and make a bigger impact, then that's amazing for me.
That sounds awesome. We've been involved with Variety Victoria a fair bit over the years, and I love what Variety do. I think
they're amazing, and they've been around for a very long time, and you know, I learned so much off them, so very, very excited about that. We have a gala ball coming up. I'm just confirming a date because we may have to play around with the dates, but it'll be our inaugural gala ball, which I'm really excited about. And you know, that's just going to be obviously a different vibe to what our kids events is, but it's going to be a really nice fundraising piece, and everybody to let their hair down a little bit and come along. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. Don't forget to give me the date as soon as you've got it.
So that's going to be great. And then, you know, which you are coming on with me, we are doing a retreat for 6 months. It's going to be a bit of a pilot for us to see, you know, if it works. But as I said, we're a holistic organisation. So we want to help the kids, but we also want to support the families and the caregivers as well.
Yeah.
So we're being sponsored by a beautiful group called Women Supporting Women. They're giving us funds to take 6 months, Julie being one of them, on a fully funded 2-day retreat down in the Mornington Peninsula. I won't give it all away, but you know, I have 6 beautiful mums that have supported us, and we have supported them on their journeys, and are continuing to support them on their journeys.
Yeah.
You know, one of these mums has got a child that's critically ill, you know, so pretty much lived in hospital for 2 years and has had no respite for herself and no self-care for herself. And what I'm finding is, you know, we've had families going through therapy day in, day out, weekly therapy, just thinking about the next session for their child and what school are we going to do, and, you know, is there chemotherapy coming up? Now I've got to do this, and all this is happening. That I just want to take a step back and take, you know, these mums away, and let them enjoy some time and just give them the opportunity to revive and rejuvenate so they can go back and be the best man that they possibly can be for their kids. So that's happening in July next month. So 2 days, as I said, we're going to go to the hot springs, and we've got a few other bits and pieces happening, but I didn't want it too structured either. I didn't want it to be a health retreat that was super woo-woo. That is great, but I didn't want this to be like this. You know, these mums are structured day in, day out with their therapy classes, being a mum. I just want it to be whatever you want it to be. So I'm really excited about that. And we've got a beautiful sponsor on board to be looking after that. And then I've got two kids crying at the moment. We've got one over there and one over there.
Really? I can't hear them.
Can you just go check on Annabelle for mum, please? Give me 1 second, Jules.
That's so good. No, that's all good. That's all good. She's a busy lady, everybody. So don't forget, if you are tuning in and you've got any questions for Lou, just pop them in the comments and then I can let her know. And if not, if nobody's tuning in, that's fine. We're having a nice chat and you might be able to watch this later. And if you do watch it later, just pop some questions on the post if you have any for Louise, and I'm sure that she and I can answer them for you when you put them there. So again, nothing like little kids. They don't put anything on hold for anybody, do they?
I'm just throwing some snacks.
Oh yeah, cool.
And another really exciting thing that we're working on at the moment is an educational platform. So this is kind of, it's not really your tangible as such, but it's something that we want to get into small to medium businesses to start with.
Yep.
That's kind of, we want to do an online program that, you know, employees of, let's just say, for example, a hairdresser, employees can go to it. They do an online program about how we can welcome, include, make it more comfortable. For example, a child living with autism, how can we make it a really safe and nurturing environment for them?
Yep.
Coming to the hairdresser, and as a family, we feel confident that this organisation or this business will welcome our family in and make us feel included and feel comfortable. Because what I've noticed is I'm on a lot of pages, a lot of disability pages and things like this. And I will get the question, I will see a question, sorry. I will see a question, you know, I have my son lives with autism and ADHD and he needs a hairdresser, but you know, all that kind of thing. And then you might see 2 hairdressers tagged all the way through in one region.
Yeah.
Now, 2 hairdressers can't handle all these people that need this support.
No.
Why can't we see 20 hairdressers tagged? So it means that, you know, and I would love to see the narrative out there going, you know, we've done the Friend in Me program, we get it, come in, we will welcome you. So that's a very big project. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of content. It's something that I can't do alone. So we've got people on board as contractors to help us. But this is the type of thing that I want to see as a goal through the businesses. So we don't see just one business tagged or 2 businesses tagged. You know, so say, you know, we're at Langwarrin community page and there's 1 hairdresser or there's 1 dentist. Why can't we have everybody tagged? Why can't we just say that the community as a whole has done this Friend in Me training and we are badged, we understand, we get it. So we know if you tell us when you come in here that your son has autism, we know what to do. We know how to manage it. We know how to make you feel really welcome.
Yep. That
So
sounds amazing.
Program.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I want to try and do too. I want to try and just go and speak to the employees and ask them, you know, if they've got worries about approaching people with disabilities and things like that. What are they? And how can you fix that? You know, brainstorm some strategies for them so that, you know, they're speaking to the person and all sorts of things like that.
All these sort of things. And I know there's some employers out there that do it really well, but there's also a lot that just don't get it. And that's fine, but they're just not, they're not. I need to get one of those, please. You know, they just, it's not through any fault of their own. It's
that's
that
right.
They don't have the toolkit. You know, we want to be able to give them the toolkit that they can manage, you know, manage these situations when they come into them, you know. So that's what we are working on and that's what we're really excited about.
I think that's an awesome idea.
So yeah, that's really cool. What else have we got? I think that's probably about enough for me at the minute with everything we're working on.
I mean, you don't want to give away too many secrets.
I know, but there's always a little ad hoc stuff. We're working with some amazing clinicians and they're doing free virtual coffees. You know, these are therapists that just, you know, we're really, well, there's my voice.
I know. I was trying to look at the comments. There's 2 comments and I can't.
No, that's fine.
That's okay. Keep talking. I'll have a look on here.
You know, it's really exciting because people want to be part of this organisation and we try and think of ways of how they can do it. So we're doing this coffee with a therapist fortnightly and it means people don't have access to NDIS right now or they're on super long waiting lists right now. We can help them manage that if they've got a question. You know, if they just have a question, these therapists can jump on and go, let us help you. Let us help you. You know, at no cost to them, which is priceless if you ask me.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's a great idea because there are so many waiting lists at the moment with the NDIS. So, we're all able to access therapies and lots of different things, but we can't because they're all full. So I think, really
scary. It's really scary because there's families out there that just feel so overwhelmed, like they may or may not have a diagnosis at the minute, but they're so overwhelmed with where do I start? How do I go? Or maybe they're like, it's not even that my child has a diagnosis. It just means that I'm having a challenge here. And is this, in your opinion, do you think it's a challenge that I need to be seen to? Or is it just being a mum or a dad or a caregiver, you know? So
no, I think it's great. And I did share your event last week, so I'll share that every week when you've got that running.
Yeah, thank you.
So that people can see it and they can hop on and ask some questions. So,
amazing. So yeah, there's lots and lots going on.
There is.
And, you know, I'm working very hard in the background to get sponsorship. You know, at the end of the day, running a charity means funding.
Yes.
We don't get government funding. We don't get anything like that, you know, and I'm very well aware that we are a little fish in a very big ocean of charities.
Yeah.
But I'm passionate and I'm going to keep on being the advocate and keep on pushing as best I can. So I know that one day I will get my dream house. I call it the Friend in Me dream house.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
And this is what I want, Julie, and you're going to love it. So because I'm taking these mums on a retreat, I said, imagine we had our own Friend in Me house that I can, you know, this is our respite house. Yep. This is our house where I can host a retreat. This is our house where I can go to a family. Do you need a weekend away? Go use a Friend in Me house. But then I also want to have some therapy rooms in there. I want to have a space for smaller events, not our big charity days, but smaller events. Yeah. Just a place, you know, people can come in and out and feel really welcome, which is my dream. Yeah. That's my dream, and that's what I'm working towards, is the big vision.
Wow.
So we can do everything that I've spoken about in this one headquarters, and just welcome families, you know, just welcome families to enjoy it for the weekend or enjoy it for the day.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Come down for the day. Yeah, more.
That would be awesome. So, yeah, and then over COVID, like, you know, you really had to change everything you were doing because everything was face-to-face, and you were amazing in creating virtual parties for children, and we attended lots of them. And
yes, and I've done a lot for Darcy's school, which has also been so fun.
Yeah, and they've loved it, you know, to finish off the term with a virtual party with their favourite characters and things like that. It's just been wonderful.
Speaking of, we should do another one, like, you know, because they're not going anywhere. Sorry if I keep bobbing in and out. I'm just giving.
No, it's okay.
I'm giving out of our little biscuits, like a little dog, you know.
Like how many virtual parties did you have you hosted, or did you host?
Today we've hosted well over 800. So, you know, COVID hit, and I remember the day I had to cancel our event, right? I remember it was just kind of COVID was approaching.
Yep.
And like, you know, that serious, like, what's going on? Our event's going to stop. And we kind of got on the front foot. I'm like, you know what, let's cancel it, right? Mm-hmm. I remember our chair lady said, just cancel it, just get on the front foot. And I kid you not, it was 2 weeks later, they're like, that's it. And that's when the world shut down, right? That's I'm like, okay, we made the right decision. But I remember sitting there going, this is bullshit. Sorry, anyone watching. I am not going to sit here and just watch the world go by. Okay, we can't do face-to-face, but everyone's on Zoom at the moment. Okay, let's get on Zoom. And I said to the characters, I said, what do you reckon if we do some virtual parties? So, you know, we get some characters and we do some, you know, 15-minute Zoom calls for birthdays. And they were like, yeah, let's give it a go. And I tell you what, went far and wide. And when I say far and wide, Doug, our beautiful Doug, rest his soul. You know, he's passed away now. But wow, what a life that man lived. You know, he was living with Down syndrome. He was
73 when he passed.
73 when he passed. And we did a Zoom call for him all the way over in the States. Yeah. And, you know, that's how far we were reaching. We did one in the Philippines. We did some in the UK. Because virtually, that's a beautiful thing about a virtual world, is you can do it from anywhere, right?
Definitely.
It doesn't even matter where in the world you are. And yet we were very busy during COVID.
Yes.
We would do 10 back to back on a weekend, with our Spider-Man and our princesses, and, you know, we were just bringing such joy to these kids' faces.
Yeah, and it was great because, like, just you didn't have to do it for a particular reason. I mean, I organised a few just with Darcy's friends just to break the boredom of them being at home all the time, stuck at home.
And just tell them what a really good job they're doing, that we know times are hard, and but you are being a really good superhero. Yes, I see you there. You know, you are courageous, you are brave, and we know times tough, but just keep doing what you're doing and make sure you remember to be kind, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And we were still sending out some really beautiful messaging for these kids, which, hey,
Hello, Annabelle.
Mummy's having a very important chat. No,
And like going back to Doug for a second, so I was speaking to Bonnie the other day because, as you know, I'm working on my 3rd book at the moment.
Yeah, amazing.
And it's a compilation of, it'll be 13 stories from other families, and Bonnie and Doug are going to finish the book.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, and when we met the other day, she brought up that virtual party and just how wonderful it was. And even though Doug, like, it took him a while to really understand what was going on and where we were all from.
Where are all these people?
He loved it. Remember, he got his guitar and he started singing for us.
And he had his little Yoda hat on. Or
yeah.
But this is what it was. And when I get off these calls, you know, it just fills my heart with such pride. Not just the ones that are overseas, just your regular one, you know, just your regular one where the kids' faces light up. And when you can say, you know, we are all your friends here right now, you know, everyone here is welcoming, and it just brings such joy that we could still keep in front of people. So for a lot of people, COVID just, you know, people just dwindled away because they couldn't keep their succession going without, whether it be face-to-face events or whatever their business platform was. But I think for us, it actually, in hindsight, brought us much more in the picture. And that's where we kind of picked up everything, was because of COVID. So I guess I have COVID to thank a lot, because the virtual parties are still going too. We now do them once a month on the Kookaburra ward at the Royal Children's Hospital for the kids.
Oh, lovely. Beautiful.
So, you know, we still get the odd one, which we will do happily. But, you know, if you talk about isolation and exclusion, it doesn't have to be a child living with challenges or a physical disability. You know, there could be a sick child who's been in hospital their whole life, you know, having cancer treatment or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
They don't even go to school at the moment, so they don't even know how to interact with society. They don't even have the opportunity to make these friends. So how do we include them and make them feel really good? So that's been really exciting to work on that with them as well.
Yeah, and I loved it. Like, you know, the characters right into it as well, and you know
they're the best, and you know, I couldn't do it without them.
No, and they'll mention the kids' names, and you can see the kids, you know, all of a sudden they sit up straight and they so excited because Spider-Man
knows Darcy, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Darcy.
Well, we went to the Variety Zoo Day a little while ago.
Oh yeah, see the character. Oh, they knew him, didn't they?
Your characters were there, and they all came up and they're like, "Oh my God, Darcy, it's so good to meet you face to face." So that was pretty cool.
They were the same at the community day. He came with Carolyn. Is Carolyn?
Yes.
Carolyn. You know, and he's such a charmer. Like, I've obviously watched him over the past few years, and he's just going. I've mentioned this before. That young little boy is gone, and it's like a really young man now, and he's such a little charmer. It's just so beautiful to watch him grow as well, and be part of that journey as well as yours. So
it's great.
It's been really good.
It's been wonderful, and they were great parties. So
now,
I also, you know, I love to support you where I can, and
you do.
I would like you to let everybody know how they can support Friend in Me.
So obviously, you know, for us, it's even just jump on our Facebook and our Instagram, you know, that connection and that interaction is such beautiful support for us. But another one of my very big babies that I'm working on and really pushing is the I Give a Cup campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So we came up with that campaign last year. I've got a cup on
I should have grabbed mine.
Well, mine's in my car, I think, because I just had my coffee in it. But it's basically I Give a Cup.
Yep.
And it is a play on I Give a, as you
can
imagine. So, you know, it's I give a cup for inclusion. I give a cup for Darcy. I give a cup for just being an amazing human. Whatever that is, it's a pledge campaign.
Yep.
And it's $5.20 per week or per month. We've opened up, we've started with per week, but we were getting a bit of feedback that some people can only afford it per month, and that's totally fine. You know, but if somebody pledges a cup of coffee per week, which is $5.20, if you ask me why $5.20, I have a medium almond milk mocha from McDonald's, and that cost me $5.20. So that's where $5.20 came from.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's $5.20 per week. pledging. You get a free travel mug, which I wish I had mine here.
I've got.
This is another.
I'm getting mine given to me right now. Hang on.
This is the drink bottle I have.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's got I Give a Cup, and the travel mug's very similar. This is actually Florence's drink bottle, but that's got, you know, Born a Star, inclusion, acceptance. You know, that's our kind of signature.
Yeah.
Signature.
It's the pink travel one.
Do I have one up here?
Oh, I'm not sure where. It was in my bottom
Okay,
drawer. Somebody's used it and they haven't brought it back inside.
No.
Okay.
Well, it's basically this. So
yes.
hang on, I've got my blur on, so it's hard to.
Yeah.
But
and it's got a great seal at the top as well. It's easy to drink out of.
So this is actually just the drink bottle, like the skinny drink bottle. Yeah. You basically get a free travel mug. So it's kind of our way to give back as well. But it means that you're pledging and you're being a part of our community and you're giving this pledge per week, which, you know, we've raised $8,000, I think, from this campaign. And it just means it's incoming for us. And we can keep up these events. We can put it into the inclusion program. You know, we can put it into our houses. We keep chipping away at our big dream house.
Yeah.
But it's just ongoing support for us. So that's probably the one way, which is fairly simple, to be able to give back to us and be a part of our community.
Yeah,
so
it's very easy to. Yeah, it's very easy to join up for that too. So
yeah, that's all online.
Yeah,
on our website, which is www.friendinme.org.au.
Yep.
So that's all on there, and you know, but we're grateful for anything. You know, a lot of people lately have been doing fundraising for us at their footy clubs, at their netball clubs. You know, just having their sponsors day, and they raise money for us and they put it into our account, and we are so very grateful. So there's little ways or there's bigger ways. You know, there's ways you can be a major sponsor at our major events and give over $10,000 if you wanted to. But you know, for us, I'm grateful for $5 being put in my pocket as a friend in me's pocket as a donation. So I'm very grateful for the support. But if it's a like on Facebook, that's beautiful for us, and that's engagement, and that's, you know, just pushing out our key messaging as well.
Yeah, and keep your eye on their page for the events, because the events are amazing. I didn't go to the community event because I was away, but Darcy and I pre-COVID attended Carols by Daylight, and it was it was such a gorgeous event. And you know, it was nice to go somewhere where, I mean, you don't want your children to have meltdowns and things like that, but it was nice to go somewhere where you could see that happening and there was no judgment and everyone was just there. There was no pushing and shoving. There was, you know, all the kids got to meet the characters. All the kids got to meet Santa that day. It was amazing. And the people that were on stage performing were phenomenal as well. It was a wonderful event.
Awesome event.
Yeah, you didn't feel like you were going to miss anything. It was just, it was a great event. Darcy loved it.
And that's what we want to do. You know, we don't always get it right. We need feedback from events. We need to know what's going to make people feel comfortable. Like we have an Auslan interpreter at our event, so they're up on stage. You know, we had the Liberty Swing this year, the Variety Liberty Swing, so people in wheelchairs could come. And you know, I remember at the event, I was super busy at the event this year, but I glanced over and there's a little girl on the wheelchair on the swing, and she was smiling and she was bopping around to the music. And I thought, you know, right now she has an opportunity. Right now she's enjoying. She can sit on that swing. She can feel the momentum of the swing. She can dance, and she's just having a very good time. And we don't always get it right, but you know, we want to make sure that we keep encouraging people to let us know what's going to make it right for your child. You know, next year we are looking at hiring 2 completely different pavilions at the showground. So one pavilion, like a big pavilion, will be completely sensory. They won't have the big loud music on stage. It's going to be super quiet there. On the other side, so if you want it all to be happening on one side, we're just going to have light music and sensory on the other side. Maybe a little bit more like an expo type thing, I'm not too sure. But, you know, every year we're getting better and better at creating this really inclusive environment, which we're really proud of. But, you know, we need to know more. We need to know exactly what we should do to make it really comfortable.
Yeah, that's a great idea with the sensory side. And then nobody misses out. Like everybody gets to have a chance to be a part of that wonderful event. So
exactly.
I'm hoping I can attend it next year.
Yes.
So that I can.
Well, dates are almost locked in. So
the photos looked amazing, but yeah, I could see that it was a wonderful, wonderful day. And
definitely.
So I've just got one more thing for you, and then you can go and give that beautiful baby a big cuddle.
I tell you what, this is why I do everything on Wednesdays and Thursdays when I'm 3 children down. My girls, I love because I've got 3 girls now, as you know, that for anybody watching, I've got 3 girls, 1, 3 and 6.
Yep.
And they keep me busy, and it's really hard to do some of these things. Like if you saw Annabelle right now, she's got like a little stool and she's just doing laps around the kitchen. She's adorable, but she makes it a little bit tricky to work with sometimes.
Oh, they're all adorable girls. So yeah, I just wanted to ask, what's the most important message you want to give to everybody?
I think from like a
which
view,
is probably lots.
There's two. Well, they've got plenty. I think from a view, if you ever want to take the risk of doing something, you know, if your heart's not in the right place of what you're currently doing, and you feel like you're not being fueled by that passion that might be burning inside, then just take a risk and take a bit of a leap of faith. That's what I did, and it is the best thing that I ever did. You know, in that time, I lost my dad to mental health. So I was kind of like, you know, I've lost him. Life's so short. Life is so short. So why don't I just go on and just, you know, Cam, my husband, pushed me the most. You know, he said, if you're not enjoying it, just go, just do it. I'm like, oh, I've got so much of a mortgage. You know, we've got 2 kids now and I can't just go ahead and do this. But he's like, well, you can. If it doesn't work, you go back. And it honestly was the best thing that I ever did. So I encourage you, if there's something that you're thinking about, it doesn't have to be a charity, but it might be a business idea, or, you know, writing another book, or, you know, we all have this imposter syndrome, but sometimes when we just take that leap of faith, sometimes it's the best thing that we have ever done. So I would encourage you to do that first and foremost. And secondly, I just want everybody to join me in creating this inclusive world. It doesn't have to be something huge. You don't have to go and organise a gala ball, but just turn around and try and learn and educate yourself on maybe choose one disability. Maybe you might go, you know what, I'm just going to learn a little bit more about Down syndrome because I saw a little boy at the shop with Down syndrome. So I'm just going to understand that, you know, start advocating, start following pages a little bit if you want to learn and want to understand. And, you know, just always smile. I mean, it doesn't take anything to smile. It doesn't take anything to be kind. Like I said, you don't go and have to be changing the world and making a huge impact. No. That's that smile that you do to that little boy or girl or the mum or the dad or whoever, anybody. That's one thing I encourage everyone to do a little bit more of.
Oh, yeah, makes a huge difference. You know, and I can say that from lived experience, 100%. Exactly. Just that little smile. Yeah, and I agree with you. You know, if there's something that you want to do, you know, I've had a few people that say, I've always wanted to write a book, but I'm too scared. And I say, well, just do it. Like, just
absolutely
find somewhere that can support you and do it. Because I mean, all I wanted to do was write a book. I had no idea what was going to happen to me at the end of writing that book. And, you know, the stuff that I'm doing and the stuff that I've got in my plans is just amazing. I'm loving it. It's
so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Sometimes, you know, life's too short, right? You just got to do it. Just do it. Like Nike said, Nike, however you want to say it. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen, you know? And I'm just really confident and happy and passionate now. You know, I've left that corporate world, as I've mentioned, and I've got time to spend with my girls, you know, but I can still be that positive change maker, which I think that I was actually destined to be this whole time. You know, my brother went to a special school. He had intellectual disability. So he went to a special school.
Yep.
And my late father, bless his heart, he didn't understand. Why is he going there? He doesn't belong there. Da, da, da. Not educated.
Yeah.
He wasn't educated. My mum, because that's the opportunity, that's where he's going to shine the most. He's going to get in a mainstream school. He can't even read and he's in grade 6.
Yeah.
You know, so I was always surrounded by that community.
Yep.
And I had a beautiful little girl when I was in primary school, Jackie. She's still part of our community now, and she had Down syndrome. She loved me. I loved her. And we spent so much time together. She was 3 years younger than me, so I was like grade 6 to grade 3.
Yep.
But we did an event. She was at an event back in December with me. And
I
she's
saw
like,
that.
I just loved you so much, and I just love
Aw.
seeing what you're doing. So, you know, corporate world, I thank so much for the, you know, what I learned, the training, the relationships. But I think that this is what I was always destined to be. I think I was destined to be that community kind of leader.
Yep.
Just do good for the community as best as I can to my ability.
Oh, I think you do an amazing job, and I love
And
doing
you.
it.
And we'll have to talk more over a few drinks, or, you know, a few ASI shots, we'll call it, in July. Yeah. So
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. And yeah, I love supporting Friend in Me, and I love doing this inclusion mission with you. I think it's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining.
No, thank you. It's always such a pleasure. I'm sorry I was a little bit in and out, up and down. And now I've got to go pick up the other one.
Yes.
And I'm off to Acro with all the 3 kids in tow. So that'll be fun.
Nice. Well, we've got Darcy coming home, and he's going to be cooking us dinner tonight. So
oh, very nice. I look forward to seeing some pictures.
Yes, yeah, he does a pretty good job. He's
Oh,
very
good.
funny because he doesn't like all of the bits he does with it. Like, he doesn't like stirring, and he doesn't like this. But at the end, when it's ready, he hops off his chair and he runs and gets everybody. Come on. He's so proud of what he's done, and I love that.
I love it.
Look, it's giving him tools for later on, even if he doesn't love it right now. One day he will.
He's a teenage boy, really. God, you're lucky to be getting up and getting it ready. Let's be honest.
I know. I know, and I love it because I don't love cooking, but I love Tuesdays because we get something yummy, and Darcy's done it.
So good.
All right. Thank you so much.
Annabelle in the bathroom, and she's very quiet, so I really must go now and see what she's
Thanks so much, Lou.
Oh, that's my pleasure, and thank you everybody for watching, and I will share this as well on my page.
Beautiful. And yeah, and any questions, pop them in the post, people, and we'll get them answered.
Oh gosh, where have I gone? And you know,
right.
I'm really open to jumping in my inbox and friending me or whatever it is. Please, you know, just let me know. All right, Jules, thank you so much.
Yeah,
and thank
beautiful.
You everybody.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.